Well, welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Katie.
And we're so excited that you're here for the first Geeks Corner during Disneyland After Dark Star Wars Nights.
Wow.
Yes, they're going on for quite a few of them. It'll be going into May, but we covered the first one last night. I will be covering the second one tomorrow night. And next week, we will talk about all that we thought about Star Wars Night at Disneyland After Dark. But tonight, we're going to talk about...
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mr. Daps. Thank you, Mr. Daps. Thanks, man.
That's right. It's time to talk about Muppets. So, Katie, what should people do?
You should go into the chat and tell us who you think the Muppet of the Week is going to be this week.
And Katie, who do you think the Muppet of the Week should be
I'm
this
trying
week?
to remember who the Muppet of the Week was last week.
Rizzo.
Hello. Welcome to my pod.
Yes, I thought that was a very good choice.
Dang. Yeah, that's really good. Then I want to say, has Yolanda been?
I don't think so.
So I'm going to say Yolanda.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with... I feel like I should just keep sticking with Bobo the Bear because that's... Like, he deserves it. If this is the only love that Bobo the Bear gets, that's something, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, we will find out on Friday who the next Muppet to be honored will be for Muppet's 70th anniversary, which is crazy to think.
I can't believe the Muppets are as old as Disneyland.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking is I'm like, it's so interesting how many things happened in 1955.
Good year. Good year.
Like there's so many different things that came out that year. And even just that era, it seems like that was kind of a starting point for a lot of different creative endeavors in multiple different industries and fields. And that would be...
Is it 55 when Sam and Friends started? Is that what we're counting as the starter of the Muppets?
Or Bean Bunny. I think that's when it was.
Okay.
I'm
like...
But like you have the Muppets, you have Disneyland, which completely changed the way that theme parks are well, they went from amusement parks to theme parks. That's better the way. And that's the year that television ministries really got going then. Like there was so much going on.
Wow.
And I think color was coming, like television color or color television was coming right around then too. And so you just start thinking of all these things that changed around then. I don't know, be kind of an interesting book, I guess. Anyway, that's what we're going to focus on this week though, is if either Uncle Deadly or Bean Bunny, that's a good choice.
Bunny.
If one of those two become the Muppet of the Week, because that would be awesome. And
Dogs being weird.
Always. Anyway, it has been a very busy week in Disney news. We got a bunch of announcements. It was the end of last week about Disneyland Resort's 70th celebration, which starts officially on May 16th. So we are getting almost to the point where we're within a month.
That's scary.
Because it's the 8th this week. So it's basically 5 weeks. It's coming fast, guys. And first thing we learned, well, we learned lots of stuff, but first thing we learned is for World of Color Happiness, they're going to do things a little bit different than previously. And guests will get to vote on which emotion gets featured in part of the show. So I think there's going to be, I think I read 4, was there 4 emotions that they said you could choose from?
Yeah, I think it's joy, sadness, anger, disgust, maybe, or
envy? Anxiety. Yeah, one of them. Anyway, 4 of them, which says to me they have 4 variations of this show, which is kind of cool. You immediately thought of
the old World of Color pre-show game.
Tell about that.
Okay, so 60th era, I believe it was. There was a pre-show game for World of Color. You went to a web address on your phone. Why did I just say a web address?
A web address.
Am I a boomer? Anywho, you went to this website on your phone. You typed in HTTP, and then you could play this game. It was like a trivia type game, or there was also like a memory game, and it was on Mickey's Fun Wheel. It would flash colors, and you had to remember the pattern. And then once you remembered the pattern, like it was literally like, it would get pretty intense because typically you knew who was still in by who was like yelling
or frantically staring at their phone and going like this.
Yeah. And then if you won, you could turn the fun wheel the color of your choosing for like 60 seconds or something, which is like super fun. But I immediately went back to that because that is That is one of those in Disneyland history. It's like you had to be there type of things.
The weird thing to me is I don't remember when it went away. Like, it was kind of one of those things that was here, and then a new variation of the show was out, and nobody was doing it anymore, and it just kind of died off.
I think it died with the 60th.
Was that what it was?
Because I think it was for World of Color Celebration. Was that what the Neil Patrick Harris one was called?
That sounds right.
I don't know. Pick an adjective. It was like Simon Says. And I tried to do it a couple times, and I was really bad at it. And so
I did not try to do it ever. I watched other people do it because I would have gotten too competitive.
Yeah. It's you know, the scene in Parks and Recreation, I reference Parks and Recreation a lot around here, but when Leslie Knope gets too competitive at the UN, at the mock UN at the high school.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Mr. Daps. World of Color, celebrate.
There we go.
Wonderful.
That's why we need Grand Cal Stan on.
Celebrate the moment. Thank you, Stanley.
Right. We also learned this week, we got enough about that, right?
Do you guys want to hear more about
No.
No.
There's a new guided tour coming to
Yes.
the Disneyland Resort, specifically Disneyland. It'll go through 70 years of Disney magic and how it has evolved from Walt Disney's original vision and the legacy that continued on with that to what it is today, and looking to the future as well. What do you think about this? It's a 2-hour tour.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, not 3-hour tours, because that's bad luck.
3-hour tour.
Anyway, what do you think of a tour?
I think it's fun. I'm never gonna do it because tours aren't really my thing. But I think it's like a real. Ow! You're a very mean dog. I just think it's like. Sorry, he's not mean. He's very nice. He has sharp nails. I think that something like this is fun, and I think for the right people, this is just a really fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to learn anything new?
Some people will.
Yeah, some people will.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like tidbits here and there that will surprise the normal Disney guests. I bet there's something in there that's interesting. And I will be curious, like, is it replacing the Walk and Walt's Footsteps tour? Like, because it seems kind of similar to that a little bit. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that comes out and how that plays and all of those fun things. I do find it interesting that it is only a Disneyland tour.
Well, I mean,
that
DCA is not turning 70.
True, but the whole area is. Like, the resort, technically.
So here's my idea.
What is the name of the celebration, Katie? This is where
Disneyland Resort.
That is where I was like, if it's Disneyland Resort 70th celebration, I feel like part of that 70th or 70 years legacy.
Which is funny because the Disneyland Resort was not born until 99.
Yeah. 2000. Yeah, 99.
Downtown Disney opened in 99.
That's right. But it's interesting because totally lost my thought because you got me thinking about timelines.
You said Disneyland Resort.
Because it's Disneyland Resort 70 celebration. You would think the tour would also be like, oh, and this is when Disney California Adventure opened and what we have here. Like, you could make it bigger and more expensive.
I have a great idea.
Yeah.
For the 70th, for this guided tour, you spend an hour and 50 minutes in Disneyland. And then they walk you over to Disney California Adventure Park. They are not acknowledging this whole time. They're still talking about the history of Disneyland. They get you till about the middle of the park and they go, and this is what it's really all about. Cars. Because why? This used to be a parking lot. It was so funny. Anyway, when you said the 70th though, and for some reason all I could think of, because you said something about like celebrating 70 years. All I could think of was the song the Sherman Brothers wrote for the 50th that got reused.
50 years of...
That got reused for the 60th. And then I was like, it can't work for this because originally it was 50 years of fantasy, 50 years of fun, whatever. 60, super easy.
Only just begun.
Yeah, 50 years of growing and we've only just begun.
Yeah.
But 70 years of fantasy, 70 years of fun.
So here's my question. Are they going to do that song?
They might.
I could actually see it happening because they did use it for the 60.
Yeah,
it
they
flowed
did.
a little bit better for the 60, but It'd be funny.
It was so what Jenny, and I can't wait to see Jenny said I can do this every single year since, for every Disneyland birthday we would always go 61 years of fantasy, 61 years of fun.
Yeah.
It's a bit that we do. Anyway, I would and the new verse for It's a Small
We do
World.
get the new verse.
So we do get some Sherman Brothers for the 70th at least. Anyway, I just wanted to go off on that tidbit. Love you guys. Mwah.
That is true. I'm very curious, speaking of the new verse for Small World, I am very curious how that will sound compared to how it sounds now.
Like how the recording sounds.
Yeah, because obviously they didn't record the third verse with the kids that have been singing it for however many years. And
well, the children in our hearts stay young forever.
I'm just curious if they capture that. It has that very
tinny.
It has that little bit of that vintage sound to it right now that's maybe not quite as perfect as a lot of things that are put out now. And I kind of like the imperfections because nobody's perfect, and the world should embrace those imperfections.
Correct.
And so I'm curious to see how that plays out, and we'll have to wait for a little bit longer for that. But we do get the attraction reopening this month, so that's fun too.
Thank goodness.
Third thing actually there was other beyond this, but we're only hitting 3. The third thing we learned is that Magic Band Plus will be doing a whole lot more this coming year, and there's going to be interactive checkpoints throughout Disneyland where you can go up and make something happen with lights and music and whatever. And it kind of reminded me of what they used to have at Walt Disney World.
Oh, I was gonna say the 100th.
Kind of, but this sounds like
A little more interactive.
Well, I'm curious if it's more, I feel like it's a little more niche too, because it seemed to me like one of the examples, you walk up to a window and the display does something or
Comes
whatever.
to life.
And yeah. And so I'm curious to see if it's more like the game you could play at Epcot, or they had the card game at Walt Disney or at Magic Kingdom.
Oh,
like,
Sorcerers of Magic Kingdom.
And so it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. And Roger just said he thinks that maybe the third verse will go into the final scene, which would be interesting, because then you could maybe layer it in and not actually re-record everything.
I will, either way, no matter where it is, I will end up sobbing.
Oh yeah, I think it will sound good. It'll just sound different. I'm assuming.
Mainly because when they debuted the third verse at
It's beautiful.
that panel, and it was sung by Richard Sherman, it's gonna mess me up.
Yeah, I think Knott's did have something like that.
Knott's has the
it's the lantern that they do,
and it interacts with other lanterns and all those things.
But I think it'll be fun. I think the one thing I'm already anticipating is you find, I think it's 5 of the locations throughout the park, and I think people will be wanting more if it's as cool as what it sounds like it could be. Like, to me, that's something that you can scavenger hunt for, or like, and they've been doing good with scavenger hunts in the last couple of years. Whether it was last year's Season of the Force or Pixar Fest, like, they've been doing really good.
I love scavenger hunts.
Yeah.
Like, love scavenger hunts.
And it's kind of funny they don't do more. When you think of Hidden Mickey fad has been around forever.
So you know what started my love of scavenger hunts?
What?
One of my first vivid memories of the Disneyland Resort. 50th anniversary.
Oh, looking for
the Golden Mickeys.
The Golden Mickeys.
I still vividly remember the Golden Mickey that was in Frontierland above the payphone.
And looking for the murals and finding your pictures in the murals. Do you remember that?
I didn't do that.
It was fun. No, they did a lot of cool stuff for the 50th.
But like, that's really what started it. And it was like, I remember going with like my church, because that's when, Disneyland was accessible enough that you could just go with your church. And I remember being like, those gold ones, yeah, those are special for the 50th anniversary. Because I was indeed that kid. Shocker, I know. But yeah, I think that's super fun. I also think that things like this that are not an extra charge, that help put you into the magic, like, it's putting the magic into your hands and saying, this is a special thing that you get to be a part of and like you get to activate whatever. That is what makes Disneyland different. That is the Legends of Frontierland. That is the Sorcerers of Magic Kingdom. That is the Disney difference, in my opinion, is like you get to be part of the story. And it is accessible to anybody. Of course, you have to have Magic Band Plus. That is the only barrier to entry for this. So, okay, what?
I was just reminded of when Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opened. Sorry.
You are the magic.
Yeah, that's a better one.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be fun to play with. I think it'll be interesting, and I will have to actually charge my Magic Band Plus now.
Yeah, that's actually my thing is I never charge mine.
When I was writing the article, I put it in at least twice of like, be sure to charge your Magic Band, because I never do. I always forget.
We don't charge ours. We go, this gets us into the park. Thank you. It doesn't do much else for us, so.
That's assuming I remember to wear it at all.
That's true.
I forget mine most of it. I really wish I could just use my Apple Watch, but not yet. Maybe someday. All right, we are moving over to Walt Disney World, where the airport transfer service has been going on in kind of a pilot program, I guess you could say, for the value resorts. And what this does is you can now check in your luggage if you are flying Southwest Airlines when you are departing the value resorts, and they will deliver your luggage for you for at the airport. You still have to check in, though. You still have to find a ride to the airport. You still have to get your luggage from the airport to the hotels, resorts when you arrive in Florida. But I think this is a very positive step and a good thing, and I hope it expands and continues to move forward beyond just Southwest Airlines at the value resorts. What do you think of it?
I'm going to say my most uncontroversial opinion of the day, which is bring back the Magical Express.
Absolutely.
Like, not to be a Disney shill or whatever you want to call me. I think that there was something so magical about knowing the second you landed an MCO,
you're in the bubble.
You were good. Like, you were in this amazing bubble. You didn't have to worry about transportation. Ow, you bit me. That hurt. You didn't have to worry about getting a ride, getting a lift. Like, you said, okay, here's my luggage. So long, farewell. I'm getting on a bus. I'm going to Disney. And I think that is something incredible. Is this what I hope is going to be a step towards that? Yes, I hope. Like, I hope and I pray that this is getting us back to that. But even if it's not, I still think it's a great thing for us to take advantage of. I also really love, and this is something that I think we've talked about a little bit, I love that it's starting with the value resorts. Like, I think that that's super awesome.
Yeah, I think it is too. I think it'll be interesting to see what the next phase is, because clearly this is a very limited offering at this point, and I want to see if it does expand or they're like, too expensive and it gets pulled. Like, either could happen. I do think it's nice to see that they've put it on the website, they've made signs, like there's some level of permanency that comes with going through that amount of effort. But I completely agree. The Disney bubble was that much more magical the moment you got off the plane and you knew you were completely taken care of.
You didn't have to think about.
And I also,
anything.
I also think it would make a lot of sense because they were just talking a couple weeks ago, I feel like, weren't executives at a press event in Florida talking about how they were really trying to make that Disney bubble basically everything. Like, you just didn't have to worry about anything. And I think if you can get that from the moment they leave the plane, or maybe someday Brightline train, because that seems like that might be a possibility again. But if you do that, I think people are so much more relaxed. Their wallets are going to open up because you're not already thinking like, oh, I just spent $60 for an Uber or a Lyft, or, oh, I had to wait. Like, it's easy to wait for a Magical Express because you know how long it is, and you're watching Disney things on the bus. Like, it's well, no, I mean, like, before the bus even gets there. Like, they're very good at communicating. Whereas when you take one of the other services, they kind of like, oh, it'll be here in 20 minutes or whatever, but you don't actually know the same level as when Disney is running that thing. And so I just think it'd be a great thing to do. And yes, it might cut into the profit margins a little bit, but I think in the big picture, you're going to get more profits out of it because you're going to have more relaxed people. They're going to be happier with the experience, and they're not going to be asking the question of what am I getting nickeled and dimed for now? And I think that's kind of a challenge with a lot of businesses right now is so many times you almost feel like as a consumer, you've walked into it and you're like, oh, I expected to pay this and I walked out paying that. Oh, I expected to pay this and it was more, like those kind of things happen, especially on vacations. And if you can make it so you've showed up, you paid what you thought you were going to pay, you do your whole experience, you go home. The only stuff you paid more for were the souvenirs that you knew were going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Then I think everybody wins. I think you're going to spend more at Disney.
Yeah. It's also like when you're in the Disney bubble and you get to be like, oh, especially when you're staying on property and you're paying with your Magic Band also, there's just this level of like, oh, I am totally at ease. I don't need to worry about cash. I don't need to worry about.
And my big argument for this just popped into my head. If you're in the Disney bubble, you're able to enjoy all of those things. You have your Magic Band Plus on, all of that stuff. If I'm a Disney executive, I'm realizing, oh, I was their driver. I'm their way home. They're not going to Universal.
Yeah.
Honestly,
you're not wrong.
Like you've kept them in their own little safe cocoon, and they would have no reason to go over to the other one. All right, that one went deeper than I thought it was going to, but that's okay. All right, we got the last week a trailer for Phineas and Ferb, who are returning to Disney Channel, Disney Plus, all of these things this summer. And what did you think of the trailer?
I think it's super cute. I love Phineas and Ferb though. Like, Phineas and Ferb was the age where I was, I think I was the right age for Phineas and Ferb. Like I wasn't super young, but this was like what, 2008? So it'd been like 12. Phineas and Ferb is just a fun show. It crosses like,
and it's smart.
It also crosses like, it's not a quote unquote boy show. It's not a quote unquote girl show. It's like you can be creative and make things. And, like there's
not a true villain either.
No, like Doofenshmirtz is silly.
Yeah.
Like Candace is always like she's always gonna fail at trying to bust the boys. There's like silly things along the way.
It kind of reminds me of the old Rocky and Bullwinkle my parents grew up watching. But yeah,
and it always gets tied up with a bow at the end of the episode. Like I think Phineas and Ferb is super super fun. I think it's written super smart, like you said. I also think the music for Phineas and Ferb is so good.
It's catchy.
Disco Miniature Golfing Queen, still something I think about very frequently. And of course, you also have like Ducky Momo. You have what was the one I was just? Dude, we're getting the band back together.
Here's my question: is Phineas and Ferb for Disney kind of like Animaniacs for WB? Because
kind of, yeah,
they different styles and personalities or whatever. Both though are technically kid shows. Both have very well written scripts that adults are going to enjoy finding the humor in as well. Both have really catchy songs that you walk away with them stuck in your head, and they're a little bit ridiculous also on both the ends of the spectrum, I guess. And no, I just had that pop in. I'm like, they're kind of filling the same niche on either side of the studio gates, I guess. But yeah,
Ducky
I'm looking forward to this one.
Ducky Momo, he's your very best friend. I don't know. I think I'm super excited about this. Am I gonna sit down and watch like every single episode? No, I am not going to be doing. Oh,
I think I will.
Oh, okay. So then I am gonna be sitting down and watching every episode. I meant more like, if this was a Friday night Disney Channel, I wouldn't be like, oh boy, clear my schedule.
That's why you have Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, I am just super excited for this. Phineas and Ferb does still hold up. It is a 17-year-old show, still holds up.
There you go.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. The other trailer we got this week, I think there was more, but the other one we're going to focus on was from TRON Ares, and I am excited about this one. This has been a long time coming. We've been waiting for it for a very long time. TRON is such a unique franchise, and from what I'm seeing so far, I think they're going to get it right again.
Okay.
And it's such a weird thing because I think a lot of us saw it. Maybe I shouldn't say a lot of us, but if you're like me, I saw it as a kid and I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Like, I enjoyed it, didn't love it, didn't hate it. By the time I saw it, the technology had moved on quite a bit. So it was kind of that like, But then you watch it a few more times, you're like, oh, this is cool. Then they come out with the next one, and Electronica comes to Disneyland, or Disney California Adventure. And that was when I felt like this cool thing suddenly became a massive world that was really immersive, and your imagination, it like connected right with like, oh yeah, this is actually what I was imagining when I watched the first movie and when I thought about Tron. And it became suddenly it kind of went from a fantasy to more of a sci-fi thing, because the original Tron was a fun movie, but I didn't actually have the level of suspended disbelief to be like, oh yeah, this could totally happen. By the second movie, though, the suspension of disbelief was doable. And so now we've got this third one, and it's basically flipping the formula of, instead of people going into the digital world, you've got an AI person coming out of the digital world and interacting and fighting and all of that fun stuff. And I'm curious how it's all going to work, for one, because I'm like, oh, so the rules in the digital world now work in the physical world, and
if you die in the game, you die in real life.
That part makes sense. But like, even in the trailer where they're going down the road and the ribbon,
cards,
yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
huh. So that they figured out somehow to make work in the real world. But what did you think of the trailer, having not grown up with this?
Yeah, so I think the funniest thing about Mr. Daps is that he puts on this trailer. Trailer ends. He looks at me. He goes, "Isn't that so cool?" And I went, "I don't know what just happened. I thought Tron was a video game. Like, not like that it was a physical video game that one plays. Like, I thought the movie was a video game. Okay, I'm not that dumb. Okay, I'm not that far gone. But like, I think it looks really cool, minus the casting of a person that I think is in too many things right now. I'm scared to say his name because I'm scared somebody's gonna take me out. Because he's in everything, and what do they know? But I think it looks really cool. I think the thing that I really like about Tron, and this is also something that I like with like Tron Light Cycle and things like that, is I love neon. I love the aesthetics of neons.
They're gorgeous.
And colors, and I've always found it very fascinating when they're in the grid in Tron, like the racing and how it's all like very what's the word I'm looking for? When it
Linear?
Anyway, when like all the angles and how everything just all fits together, and like doing that with colors.
Geometric.
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, you like it.
Angular. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
Was angular. Teehee. So I think that that's always really cool with colors. Like, I have a neon sign tattooed on me, guys. Like, I love neon. I think it's really cool. And so seeing that neon with today's technology, I was like, this is super rad. Which means I would love if they brought Electronica back. Where would they put it? No idea. But I'd like to see it.
I think
Tomorrowland.
They could put. I mean, Tomorrowland actually make a lot of sense. Yeah. Other than they couldn't sell the alcohol, which I think was a big part of making that thing profitable. So maybe Hollywood backlots before it disappears. You get that one last hurrah.
One last hurrah.
Assuming it's going to disappear. But I think if you could bring Electronica back in any way,
yeah,
like that would be so epic. Like people would.
You specifically want Flynn's Arcade back.
Well, yes, but no. Like you need the whole thing, because they didn't have Flynn's. Like Flynn's Arcade was a fun part of Electronica, but if you didn't have the entrance, if you didn't have the entertainment, if you didn't have everything else, like all of the lighting that fit into the realm of Tron, even they did a like a preview thing in the Muppet Theater, and like you need all of those different elements to really make it special. And if they can pull that off again, I think, you would get so much goodwill from the fans. Like people would just, and I know off the top of my head, several people that would come from out of state just because Electronica was there. and that would be cool too. Also, welcome to Geeks Corner Plus. I see it's 9:00. I don't have a graphic for that this week, sorry. But no, I think everything I'm seeing so far with TRON looks like it's going to be great. Like, I think it's going to be a fun ride. Is it going to, win any Oscars for Best Picture? Probably not, but we're going to have a good time watching it.
That'd be wild, imagine.
It would be. It would be very wild. As it is Geeks Corner Plus, if you have any questions or comments you'd like us to reply to, let us know in the comments there, and we will hop on those and respond as quickly as we can.
Can I ask Tiana a question? Hold on.
Oh, you're going to wake her up. But there you go.
She's got really big opinions for a little small girl. She got a haircut today, and so she's a little mad at me because she doesn't really like getting a haircut. But she looks cute. Tell her she looks pretty. Say, Tiana, you look so pretty. You got a haircut. Because then maybe if she knows how pretty she is after she gets why are you looking at me like that? Maybe she knows how pretty she is after she gets a haircut. She won't be so mad about them anymore. She'll be like, oh, the people on the internet said I'm pretty.
There you go.
She might.
Look
at her. She even no. Okay. Can I ask Tiana, why is she bald? First of all, she's not bald. Check it. Okay. This woman has hair. Look at her. She look bald to you?
Mm-mm.
Yes, she does look pretty.
There you go.
She's so pretty. She's going back to sleep. She's very tired. It's so exhausting to be this pretty all the time. She's just a little doggy, and she's
there
so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. Stop calling her bald. She'll hear you.
You do it.
I do call her princess very often. Like I've started calling her princess probably more than I say her name. To the point where I think that neighbors think her name is princess. Because I go, come on, princess. Mainly when she's acting like a princess.
There you go.
But it also works because Tiana.
Yeah. There you go. All right. We're running out of time. So, Katie, what should people do?
You should go to... Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
You should go to dapsmagic.com, check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens. You should subscribe to our mailing list.
Good idea.
So you don't miss any of the news as it happens. And also go to patreon.com/dapsmagic. There's some really, really good behind the scenes photos of Star Wars night from last night that
maybe we'll get more. We'll see.
You want to see. They're good.
We will see.
Okay. And there's more stuff, but that is the most current thing and is like my favorite thing right now. So
there you go. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got Star Wars night videos going up. We will have more going up as the week goes on. And then before you know it, we're going to have Disneyland Resort 70th celebration videos going up as well. You won't want to miss any of those. I think we also might have, I think we have a couple more videos going up from Tokyo Disney as well. You might have seen those in the last week. But a lot of exciting things happening on our YouTube, and we're getting closer to 100,000. So if you haven't subscribed yet, help us get there. This is the year. This is
2025.
That's it. All right. Well, that is about all the time we have for you this week. So we will see you around the corner.
Bye.